Now, our next speaker for today is Mr. Farjeel Javaid, who is Senior Advisor at SAP Pakistan.
Yes, on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Farjeel Javaid.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. And I would like to thank you, HR Legends, to having me here as well. My name is Farjeel Javaid. I am representing SAP here today. And, I'm working as a Senior Advisor of Smart Governance, looking after that portfolio. A little bit background on me. I worked with the US government for like 8 years. And then I worked for the federal government for about 4 years. And it's been a year since I've been with SAP. So given all that, let's get started to the discussion we are supposed to have today about the predictive analytics. But before I go into this, since morning there are a lot of ERP stuff happening. So let me just have a few words which I picked up. Let's refresh them, keep them in mind, so we'll go through the presentation afterwards. ERP, then we got our latest 3 Ps. It's not about, it's about the business. It's not about the technology. It's about, on-prem, off-cloud, on-cloud, and then we have many more keywords like that. So given all this thing, one thing we need to be clear, it has to be about something about the business. If I'm a biryani seller, I'm a car manufacturer, or whatever I'm doing, it has to do something with my business. That's the key thing. Forget about what technology we are talking about here, right? So given this, why we are talking about this analytics and stuff like that? Yeah, this thing doesn't work. Can you guys change this, please? So these are the few areas we'll be covering today, but before we do so, why we are having this debate, first of all, it's about the customer, and the next thing is how this whole revolution started. Can you please change this, because it's quite irritating. Or just control it, because I can't speak with the slides, right? Next one, please. So the whole journey started, we spoke about the mainframe computer, not today, but the whole journey started with the mainframes. Then the client-server environment. Then we spoke about, we had seen the big data and cloud. Today, the world we are living in, that's all about intelligent technologies. We heard AI, we heard machine learning, we heard robotics. All this is gearing us towards an environment which is going to be smart enough to do things on our behalf, so we don't do repetitive stuff, we do some innovative things. That's the whole idea. So now, if you look at these verticals we are going through, we are done with all the technology part, all that. Now, there needs to be a technology. When you pick an ERP solution, as a technology expert, as a businessman, you need to see what this technology, whatever the solution I'm trying to put it in, is it fully integrated? Is it looking at all the aspects of my business? That's the key thing you have to keep in mind. It's not just about digitizing the finance, not about digitizing the HR. What different areas is covering? Next, please. Excuse me, next, please. So, about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data insights. Now the businesses, predictive analytics is all about the data. Whatever as a company I have, your solution, whatever you are offering, it needs to do the analysis on my data and tell me, as a government, that's my specialty, look after the government, so about the government processes. In the Planning Commission, I need to know what type of projects I need to initiate, which can have a direct impact on the life of the citizens. In the healthcare, I need to see my data needs to tell which type of department I need to establish, where I need to pour a lot of funding. All this needs to come from the data. Next, please. So all the enterprise we are talking about, they need to leverage, the data. Applying machine learning. Actually, we are doing it before this fancy concept of AI, ML, and all that. We are already doing it. But we are doing it at our capacity. We call it, business developers. Think about my business, tell me what I need to do. Let's reinvent this thing, have the marketing guy do this thing. But actually, now we want the IT department or the transformational people to get involved in this and let the system drive this thing. And have the decision to be automated as well. Next, please. So, given this, next, please. So, given this, we are dealing with a massive amount of data, first of all. Then there is what the world is heading towards, because how many organizations, especially in Pakistan, if you look at it, how many organizations have data scientists? Not many, right? We don't really believe on having that because it's a very, very expensive individual to have who can analyze your data and predict you or tell you what type of algorithms you need to develop and then go and make your remodel or re-strategize your business model and stuff like that. So that thing is lacking in the future as well. So what these technologies are going to do, they are basically going to do whatever we have done manually so far. They are going to do the same thing electronically. Next, please. So, given that the traditional approach relies on a very few highly skilled people, constant manual model, and then excessive time searching and deciding, that was the key thing. Now with the era we are living in, we are talking about the technology, let the data to be analyzed quickly, and we make the decision before it's too late. Next, please. So machine learning, automation, fastest, that's what we spoke about. Next, please. So now, when I said pick a solution, a ERP solution, about the SAP, I think it doesn't need any introduction or what we can do, what wonders we can do actually, but whenever you are about to pick any technology, you have to look at the whole 360 degrees. Is it providing me just an ERP? Or is it supporting all the out-of-the-box, well-integrated, newest technologies available, which is AI, machine learning, analytics, IoT, you name it, it needs to be a part of it. It shouldn't be a part of the future roadmap developing thing. By that time, you don't need the analytics, the destruction might have been done already. So that's the thing as a SAP point of view. The way we see any business, we have to have, by default, these options available. It's your choice. You would like to pick one, or you want to implement multiple technologies within the same framework. Next, please. So as I was saying earlier, what we used to do, we do the data connection, data manipulation, all that's on the top, that layer we will running it. Different department within your organization are running it already. But now, having the same platforms, this morning we read about the ERP, about the business, you need to speak to me how your technology can transform my business. The questions I need, make profit, make my people be happy working for my organization, produce in the best way possible, at the best time possible. Let the system tell me when in the past 10 years my cost of manufacturing was the lowest in that particular time frame. Maybe it's a summertime or something. The system needs to tell me. All that out of the box. It has your ERP solution, your finance, your HR, your procurement, you name it, all those core functionality the system is maintaining. Now we covered the predictive analytics layer on top of it, which is going to do the wonders. And it will automate it. Means, next please. Basically, which simply means the machine is going to learn the trend over the period of time. Next, please. Over the period of time, and not only make the life easier of the IT folks in your organization, but enabling everyone. I don't need to be from IT if I want to contribute towards the progress of my company. If I am what we call it, evil genius in how to transform the business so we can be a multi-million company in a year or so. I don't need to be IT guy, right? So the system don't require them to go learn, code, and then analytics is happening. The traditional approach we used to have, right? Or a homegrown ERP system that we used to have. So the basic idea is have a platform that has that capability, which can drag drop. It has the use cases from the same industry. And SAP, when it comes to industry, SAP is known for this. We are working in 25 industry, from public sector to energy to utilities to healthcare to education, you name it, we have it. For that thing, that's only possible if you are exposed to the industry. No, let the predefined cases be a part of it. Given the environment, the question I get personally a lot of time when I deal with the government, we have our own indigenous processes, it's a ASTA code, it's a that code, it's PPRA rules and all that. All that is configurable. Let's not forget these PEPRA rules, all these, they were developed by the World Bank and all other donor agencies, right? So they exist one way or other. We see it differently. That's the only thing. Then automate it end to end. It's not like you bring this Excel sheet, then I'm going to inject, then I need that data form, and then we need to translate. It needs to capture the data from your database. It's in memory, it's in database, whatever it is. It needs to capture that, do the analysis, and over the period of time, the machine is going to learn when such type of events happen, what we need to trigger, what type of analytics we need to have. So that the system should have the capability of doing so. Given that, as I was talking about earlier, about the in-database, in-memory, all this businesses application in a nutshell about this slide is to have automated out-of-the-box integration. You have to see your roadmap, like, okay, does it provide that? Because when it's going to be coming to the speed, if you're dealing with all in database, you're going to have a problem if you're dealing with a huge amount of data. When it's in memory, yes, you can be really quick. So these are the things which we need to understand when it comes to predictive analytics. Next, please. Next, please. So now, just to show you the study that was done by, I believe, that's either MIT or Deloitte, I believe. If you look at the numbers right here, in the traditional mode, when I do the same thing, we've been doing it. There is no surprise. This is no rocket science here, nothing SAP have invented. We just digitize it out of the box. Usually, people spend 5 to 10% of that time on problem analysis. Then 45 to 65% in data analytics preparation, making the data sheets. Then 20, 30% in building the model. And then they get to deployment 5 to 10%. Review result 20 to 30%. That's the practice every time you want to make any change. You want to have the predictive analytics going in a traditional mode. What SAP or a technology is going to bring to the table? Imagine doing the analysis automatically. You cut that time. It takes the best practices out there, try to use that model, that time is gone. And the irony here is it happens all the time at the workplace. We develop a model, when you go for deployment, boom, it doesn't work. You have to start over again, right? Or at least start from the middle or something, where you have left. In that way, since it is machine dependent, it's already back on the back end calculating the results, end results. How it's going to act when it's going to be deployed. That's the key thing. So in a nutshell, what we are predicting here is, what we claim as SAP here is that the time decreased to 70% when you use SAP predictive analytics. Thank you. So how these things, like in a technical way, just want to show you quickly that what are the different things, the solution. Again, whenever you are deciding, when you are exploring some solution, have these pictures in mind. It's not just about, again, we also have to understand it's not, BI is different than predictive analytics as well, right? It's not just providing a smart reports, a smart pulling out stuff from the database or something like that. What type of mechanism it has? Does it understand that it's a data manager, automated modular? It has a mechanism of building models for the analytics. So you are not, again, back to dependent on the human. Does it have the capability out of the box with click? With the beauty with the Microsoft usually is click and deploy. Does it have that? And then you can roll back if it doesn't work or something, or you want to call it off. Does it have that capability? That's something we need to keep in mind when we decide about the ERP solution. Why I'm saying ERP is because later or sooner, we are heading to the direction, we pass that era of big data. We are heading to the direction where the system needs to do repetitive stuff. Humans will no longer do the same kind of stuff every day. That's the machine work. We will do much more creative things. So down the street, you have to vision like, okay, today it's not my requirement, but do you have that available? You know, these type of things. So when we talk about SAP methodology, what we call it a predictive factory. It's keeping the whole mechanism, understand SAP, understand the whole mechanism, keeping that in mind. If you go through the list, full predictive life cycle, we cover all the steps involved in any traditional predictive analysis. All those steps are well covered, well defined. You know, modeling is there. There is no coding required because as a SAP, we do understand, you know, it's not about the IT folks, it's about the business people. It's about the top guy who's sitting there who needs to see, okay, what if I change the strategy? They don't need to know about how the servers are working. It's on cloud, it's on premise, or it's in ground. He don't care or she don't care. That's why you have to have a model which is ready, deployable, ready off the box, where we can, by simply drag and drop, start configuring, start playing with the infrastructure, start playing with the application so we get the desired results out. In SAP world, we also, just to show you, predictive analytics integrator, that's what we call it. That's where the beauty is, especially when you deal with the government or a big organization who have multiple type of application databases are running in the back end. You don't want to go and just start talking about pitching your own new product from scratch, right? Your application need to be capable enough. You're running Oracle, SAP, SQL, whatever. It needs to have a layer where streamline the data and then start doing the analysis, because you don't want to just flip the whole database, years and years of work overnight and just, you know, which is not going to happen overnight, by the way, and just start, you know, working on your product only. So that type of tools are available in SAP. Just want to share it with you. So when you decide, when you look at, do the analysis of picking a ERP, these are the things you need to highlight or think about it at least. So these are just the models. Just wanted to share it with you, you know, how this different layer structure is working. We have a BI platform is different. Then you have a designer, discovery, there is a whole product there. At the end, you just have the analytics part attached to it, and the whole product works out of the box, basically. So that's a detailed structure about the in-memory, you know, how the things work. Basically, in a nutshell, in-memory versus in database. The edge where you need, it's basically about the speed versus the amount of data. So that's your pick. But when it comes to SAP, we are capable of handling both type of environment. Our predictive analytics, as you can see in the right boxes right there, not only the in-database, but in-memory is capable of dealing with both, with all the structure available, as you can see, as I was mentioning earlier. You know, it looks at every layer and designed it in a way where it, you know, it's contributing wherever the best component is available. You know, whatever the best value they can bring, they are a part of the whole equation. So given all this, basically what we are, at the end, what I would like to suggest here is, you know, since now the organization will be dealing with the data, I might be repeating myself here again, but we are dealing with the data, so we need to be very careful when we talk about these fancy products. I call it fancy because they might look very nice and sleek up front, but you have to ask few questions. Why is it out of the box integrated? Can it access all my data which is already there, whatever I am running? All these things. So the information can be analyzed and you get the best result. Otherwise, if you have to just only do the analysis on SAP data and you can't do the analysis on an Oracle database, whatever you are running, it won't make any sense. It won't give you the holistic picture. So that's one other thing, taking line of business next level with predictive analytics. Basically, just want to show you that, we understand these different part of the equations. There are data scientists, there are, industries involved, there are some improvement, there are some business cases or use cases already available. So using or leveraging all that data, we use to do this predictive analytics. These are some of the examples about the industry, what are the different type of things we are doing. By the way, I hope you realize that machine learning, one of the things we actually use it every day in the Facebook. When we do the snap and take the picture, it picks up the face of the other individual and try to tag them with them. So this is kind of a machine learning type of thing going on. So the power of analytics, if I have to quote some examples, this BMW is doing this driverless vehicle test. They are running this type of thing. When we talk about Facebook, Twitter, they are running this type of thing. When we talk about the eBay, I think I have the list here as well. These are the different, manufacturer industries or solutions or customers. They are using it all over the world. SAP focused solution, Bosch, the banking sector, oil and gas sector, all these type of, customers we have. So given all this, I guess that's pretty much it for today's session. And if you have any questions, so please go ahead and feel free to ask.